Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Fall Guys. This episode I'm doing a really weird challenge, which I just randomly came up with. So I'm going to see if I can get a win without using the camera in the game at all. No camera. I'm not actually adjusting it in the options, but I will simply not touch it, which possibly is even harder because you have to really fight that muscle memory through the levels and not move the camera one tiny amount. So we start off with a squad show and roll on. So we've got a team of 4 here, and it's already feeling very strange to not move the camera, because that means I just have to deal with wherever its default position is from the beginning. Now the camera does move by itself, it does follow your bean around a bit kind of as you go with like a gentle movement, but that's still enough to make this a lot harder to play. So it's really much more difficult to judge kind of distances and even just to be able to see where other players are. Despite that, this is genuinely my first go. We managed to pull off a 3rd place. Fantastic. Plus 58 points for the team. Okay, second round, we get put into Hoarders. Hoarders is horrible. It's really a level that I don't like anyway, but when you can't move the camera, it makes it a lot worse. Now thinking back, I think one of the first games that I ever played that had a 3D camera kind of thing that you can move around was Mario 64. Because you could control the camera separate to your character. I think it might even be one of the first games that ever let you do it. So I'm very used to being able to move the camera, and camera control in Fall Guys is actually one of the most important things. Also, I was grabbing loads of players as much as possible in this to try and fulfill my grabs in team games, marathon, quest, challenge thing, whatever you want to call it. So we're doing okay here. We got 3 balls in our base. I'm still just not really doing much. There's only so much I can do without a camera in this level, and levels got quite a high element of just randomness to it. I mean, I've thought I was doing really well in this level on many occasions, only to very quickly lose in the last few seconds. But now we're doing terrible. But then we're not. You see what I mean? It's just almost a coin flip, this level, it really is. Playing defense can really help in this, and just trying to keep balls out of one base. Now as you can see, we're currently in the lead. But because the other 2 teams are tied, we're not safe. That's right, you get overtime. What I would like to see is in any round where overtime can be a thing, if there's someone with a higher score than everyone else, they should just get a safe pass to the next round, and then it should somehow just be a battle between the others. But anyway, we qualify. Barely. We scrape through into Snowball Survival. I'm slightly worried about this one as it begins, because I cannot see the snowballs without being able to move the camera. So I decide to just stand still and hope for the best. This is kind of stressful. I can see snowballs when they're coming towards me, but I don't have a whole lot of time. And the more I move around the map, the more chance there could just be a snowball there. Because this is also the hardest possible variation of this map, almost. There's 2 snowballs. Technically there can be 3, although I think that's only in Survival of the Fittest. And I unfortunately sip right off the level. Somehow we're still in first place though. So we've got 2 members of the team left. Sorry, let's make that 1. But because this is such a hard variation, even though we've only got 1 guy left on the team, we're still in 2nd position. We're through to the next round. Fantastic. That leaves us with only 4 squads. And in squads that means you can get a final, and we are given Jump Showdown. So how on earth do you play this without a movable camera? I decide to just walk towards the camera in its default position from the beginning, and just kind of hope that this part of the map stays safe. Because if I go to the other side, I mean the whole middle of the map's just going to be in the way for a start. I won't even be able to see my character. I didn't turn names on at this point, but I think if that was the case, I would have had to. Unfortunately, we lose all 3 of the rest of the team pretty early on here, and there's still a lot of people left. So I think my safest option here, and this is something I'd probably do anyway, is going to be to grab the other beans. Now this is not the normal camera angle I would use on Jump Showdown. I would normally have it pointing downwards a lot more so I could see the other bars coming along. And I almost knocked myself out straight away with my first attempt at a grab with the camera at this angle. Grabbing with the camera this low down, it's really kind of difficult actually to gauge timing and distances, but as you can see, it doesn't seem to be a massive deal. And just like that, it's just a 1v1. My whole team is gone, and it's still come down to this. A few grabs. But unfortunately, this guy lives. Until there. And just like that, what I thought would be a really hard challenge, I've actually won with a squad. The first attempt. And the best thing about this squad is, one of them was actually recording this, and they sent me a message on YouTube, or a comment, and they asked if it was really me. Totally was. So GG's all round. Great teamwork. Here's that comment thread. And they did upload this, so I'll probably put it in the description or the comments. And it's a really wholesome reaction. It was really nice to see how they were all wondering if it was the real me. And just a nice watch. Really made me smile. So after that successful squads round, I go straight into the Blast Ball Bonanza, whatever it was called. And once again we have the low down default camera on Dizzy Heights here. Makes it a little bit more difficult to gauge where you are. I totally ignore the blast balls because I know I'm just going to get myself into trouble if I use them. And yet I still get hit by someone else. You know, it happens. You can avoid the balls as much as you want, but every now and again someone will throw theirs at you and they will explode. What can you do? So I decided to take the left side up here, and I'm actually pretty close to getting first place. There is just a mountain of flowers in front of me. A common occurrence in Fall Guys in this season. I do like the flowers outfit, it's great. But as hard as I try, I cannot gain that first place sadly. But second place I'll take it. And I'm beginning to think that maybe this challenge isn't as hard as it could be. And then I realised there's still quite a lot of levels that this will make very, very difficult. Not to mention finals. Now this Thin Ice is just a survival round, so I don't have to win it. But it does make me realise Thin Ice and Hexagon would be very difficult as actual finals without any controllable camera. So the camera's just gently following me around here, but if I wanted to see what was the other direction or in front of me, I'd be in big trouble. So I'm really playing it safe, just kind of sticking to the bits of the map that I can already see, hoping that not too many players actually come through this way. And luckily on this level, it seems like the camera's default position is kind of in the middle of the map. So as long as I stay on the edges and kind of go around them, the camera does follow me around by itself a little bit. Despite that though, a lot of the map is actually in the process of disappearing, and my teammate's gone. We do have 5th place here, but if anything happens to me, we might be out. Luckily there's only a few seconds left, and I've got a pretty safe area to stick with, so it looks like we're through to the final, which will obviously be a Blast Ball. Blast Ball, the camera's pretty important, so I decided to do what I did in Jump Showdown, and just kind of come towards it, and try and put it in my normal position. Looks like my teammate's just kind of messing around and grabbing other players. Totally viable. As long as they stay aware of which parts of the map are falling. And I just kind of try and stay where the camera feels normal. Now my strategy in Blast Ball is honestly just to kind of not really do much near the beginning. Not make too many enemies, not throw too many bombs. And with this whole difficulty of the camera involved, I'm even more inclined to just play it very safe. Because I can't really throw the ball easily without camera controls either. Because I can't see where all the other beans are on the map at one time. It definitely makes it more of a challenge to see where the other balls will be coming from as well. Don't know why this guy kept grabbing me, but I gave him a little playful grab back. I've obviously made an enemy of him somehow. Now we've lost our teammate at this point. And there's still quite a few other beans left. I decided to just stick in this area because I'm not even sure if I can go further around. I don't even know if there's a platform to the right there. It's looking like there isn't. So I decided to just kind of stick with this corner. It's looking like the Godzilla across there is playing pretty well. And I got very lucky there. If the bomb had exploded at any other time, I think I would have been a goner. But we're doing well. There's only a few more beans to go. The Godzilla obviously still living, and I'm being really careful not to dive off the map here. I've totally done that before. So I'm just being really sparing with my throws. I'm still making the most of every one of them. Whenever I get a blast ball, I'm certainly chucking it. But you can't be too careful on this one. That was nicely thrown, but sadly it wasn't quite enough to knock Mechagodzilla off the map. But as quickly as it's happened, it's once again a 1v1. And I'm really thinking, should I try and stick with my safe area, or should I come after the other bean? I decided to go after him. And that's when I realised, this center area without a camera, insane difficulty. What am I meant to do here? So I kind of give up on the whole blast ball thing and hope I can push him off the map. It's kind of not doing much until that point. I managed to get really lucky. There was probably a bit of skill involved, but just as he picks up the bomb, I managed to push him off the map. So somehow, that's 2 for 2. A win in each round with no camera movement. Is this even a difficult challenge? I'm thinking. Is this worth making a video on? Trust me, it is. So I decided to do Slime Climb time, as it's a current limited event. Can I even get through Slime Climb without moving the camera? It's a solid start, which instantly makes me think, okay, this isn't too bad at all actually. This is fine. Can I even get first place? Surely it's possible. The camera is actually nicely positioned in default in this level for most of it. There's definitely some tricky bits, and this is the hardest one. The balance beams, without looking straight down them, really tough. And as you can see, absolutely not made it any easier by the existence of a Grandis, a long guy right in the way. But because I got knocked down, it actually kind of moved the camera around. I decided not to take that shortcut because the camera's too awkward. And then I jumped right on a flipper. Everything is thrown off just a little bit. If you think this looks easy, really, anyone you should try this because it's a lot harder than it looks. It really throws off anything you do, especially if you've played the game a lot. Your muscle memory will really want to be trying to look at things from a different angle. Sadly not a first place, but I got through Slime Climb. I sped up this one just to show that I did it, but we don't want to watch the whole thing again, surely not. But sped up, you can see that without the camera movement, it's nice and smooth. I even take the hammer at the end, and then we're given a Lost Temple as the final. Now, without a camera, this is a really tricky one. It's hard to be able to tell which doors people are going for, and each room is a lot harder because you cannot see what's ahead of you. You just cannot tell where the obstacles lie. And the ice cream up ahead, doing really well. But I decided to take a risk and actually go a different direction here. Which kind of pays off, as I'm in second place at this point. Make that first place. But my luck gets messed up. Many people think that Lost Temple is the most luck-based file. I don't think it is. I think there's a very high element of skill in this file. And as long as you can get through rooms quicker than everyone else, even if you get really unlucky on the doors, you can still win. There's only a few doors to go, and I'm a few beans back now. It all comes down to the final couple rooms. I cannot see what's in front of me, so I have to play very slowly. And sadly that means missing that lily pad. I honestly think I might have been able to win that if I'd landed on the first lily pad. Sadly not. So we try Slime Climb time again. Once again I've sped these ones up for you, just to prove that I did do them without moving the camera. But you don't want to watch the whole thing at normal speed, trust me. It would be very boring. We've got a fan at the end here. Can I get a first place? No. Second time through, it's still difficult. The timings are really hard at some parts of this, and I still maintain that the balance beams are probably the most difficult part of this level without moving the camera. And it's still not enough for first place. But only 5 beans qualify, and the final is a roll-off. I think this may be one of the most difficult finals to do without moving the camera. I'm coming right out and saying it. This is horrible. It's really, really difficult. You cannot see what's coming, you can't see what's behind you. You can kind of get a little bit of movement on the camera depending on which part of the map you go to, but not a whole lot. So I try and keep the camera as level as possible so I can at least see a bit. But again, the view is just... it's not looking down much, so even jumps across gaps are really hard to judge. It's just very difficult to gauge any kind of distance with the camera this low down. So if you have trouble with the game, try a different camera angle. I always find I turn the camera down quite a lot. I look at the floor, and it really helps me. So far things are going okay. At least I'm not the first bean out. So that's fine. I wonder what the most difficult final is without any camera movement. I feel like Full Mountain's probably the easiest, because you don't really need a whole lot of camera movement. Hexagon's probably one of the most difficult, along with this. This is just horrible. There's just no way to see what's coming up. I mean, technically you could memorize what's on the way, but even if you do know exactly what's coming up, the jumps themselves are hard. I get kind of lucky though, as some of the other players just grab each other, and it's just me and this one guy left. This motherboard looking skin. And I almost throw it all away right there. They'd already tried to grab me. I'm thinking, it's probably my only way to win, is if I actually grab them and push them in the slime. But after that terrible, terrible bit of luck there, I'm wondering if it's really worth the risk. The other guy's looking a bit unsteady, despite the fact that my camera angle is really bad. And once again I almost slip right into the slime. Pull off a very lucky jump, and somehow the motherboard bean tries to grab me as I make the jump. And because they were paying too much attention on that, they slip in and give me the win. So that's 3 wins out of 4 finals without moving the camera. I can't believe it. Honestly. Does that deserve a subscribe? I think so. If you haven't, of course, already. Now, I've decided I wanted to get first place in Slime Climb. I was so close the other few times, but this time I finally do it. After getting hit by balls, loads and loads, because I cannot see them coming. It's too hard. But in my mind, I've told myself I'm not allowed to move or use the camera again until I get first place in Slime Climb. So it's gonna happen. I try a few of the shortcuts, the ones I know I can manage. Even this one, that's right. None of us make the hammer shortcut. Or actually, one of us does. The ice cream has pulled ahead. But there's a hammer. Although the sharp-eyed amongst you might have noticed that the ice cream actually already made it to the end, but didn't cross the finish line. That in my books, that's a first place. So I'm now able to use the camera again. When we get first place in Slime Climb, it feels so good to be able to use the camera after not using it for so long for this video. Only 4 beans survive, which means we get the rare Royal Fumble as a final. And now I'm able to use full camera controls, and I even start with the tail. Absolutely blessed. Well, I think that's a hell of a challenge. This is really a lot harder than it looks, playing without using any camera controls. And I'm seriously thinking there are probably some levels that are absolute nightmare mode to do. Also, Royal Fumble is one of the best finals in the game. I think I win probably about 80% of the Royal Fumbles I play. The trick, if you're wondering, just be as chaotic as possible. Just be completely unpredictable. Play stupid, honestly. Just be completely random. Go wherever you want. I think I even ran around in circles here just to try and keep away from the people. People will try and cut you off. That'll happen a lot. But anyway, as this episode draws to a close, just want to take a moment to thank everyone for watching this whole video. Thank you for everyone who's been subscribing, who's been liking, who's been commenting. It just feels great to make these videos. I love the game. I really enjoy doing these for you all. And it's just so refreshing seeing the channel do so well. Look at that train of beans behind me. They ain't close enough this time though. The tail is mine. We get a nice little win. With full camera controls. Imagine that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this challenge, this video. I got some more lined up. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.